Welcome back to a special edition of Tucker Carlson Tonight. The U.S. has reduced its carbon emissions more than the countries that are still members of the Paris Climate Accord. Did you hear that? We're not in the Paris Climate Accord because we don't care about climate, but we've reduced our carbon emissions to a greater extent than people who have signed it. Amazing. We did that with innovations like fracking and nuclear energy, not because we banned plastic straws or because someone told you to turn down the air conditioning. But now browbeating the population, yelling at the middle class for their sins, is the official platform of the party of science. Any disagreement is now denialism. The entire country must look like California, Joe Biden declared last year, or else. In other words, it's time to nationalize blackouts.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated.
These people know nothing, of course, but you should know what would happen, exactly what would happen, if we banned coal and fracking, fossil fuels entirely, and this country rejoined the Paris Climate Accord, because that could happen. Justin Haskins follows this stuff for a living. He's a research fellow at the Heartland Institute, and we're happy to have him on tonight. Justin, thanks a lot for coming on. So if we were to phase out fossil fuels and rejoin the Paris Climate Accord, where would we be?
Right. Well, it would be a total disaster. Over just a 10-year period of time, researchers at the Heritage Foundation found that the average American family of four would spend $30,000 in extra energy costs, and 400,000 jobs would be lost, about half of which in manufacturing, which is obviously a huge issue in many parts of the country, including the Midwest. Those jobs would all be lost as a result of just joining the Paris Climate Agreement. And that's not even the main thing that Joe Biden wants to do. Joe Biden has a whole bunch of other radical policies related to climate change. He wants to spend $2 trillion over his first term to retrofit 4 million buildings to make them green energy compliant. He wants to phase out all of coal, natural gas, oil, costing hundreds of thousands of jobs in lost production and economic growth by 2035. He wants to ensure that we have net zero carbon dioxide emissions by 2050, put us on a path that would make that happen. That means you can kiss your gasoline-powered car goodbye. You're going to be driving an electric car for the rest of your life. And then even scarier, he wants a global trade war with any country, including China, all over the world, any country at all that refuses to adhere to these same policies. Americans would lose no matter what happens with that global trade war. And again, there's been talk from people like John Kerry and other people in his administration that this is just the beginning. There's been talk of joining this great reset movement. John Kerry, just a few weeks ago at an event hosted by the World Economic Forum, said that, and of course, John Kerry is going to be the incoming climate czar. He said that the Biden administration is going to join the Great Reset movement, that it's going to help make sure that it is enacted in the United States, that it's going to happen faster than most people think and with a greater intensity, and that dealing with the climate crisis and doing more than what the Paris Climate Agreement would have us do is going to be the key part of it. So these are incredibly radical policies that are going to cost massive amounts of money for the average American.
The people pushing this, Tom Steyer, Jeff Bezos, John Kerry, aren't ponying up their own money. They're expecting you to pay for it. Let me ask you one quick question. This is always the reality check on any issue. Have you ever heard a single time of a solution to the climate crisis that doesn't make the people proposing it more powerful?
No, of course not. What I love to say is that climate change is the crisis that gives the left everything it always wanted, even before there was a climate crisis. The fact of the matter is there is no existential threat caused by climate change.
Yeah, or explain the last ice age, by the way, before the internal combustion engine. Like, this is so stupid, it beggars belief. Justin Haskins, I appreciate it.
Thanks, Tucker.
So nothing.